Hi, my name is Rizwan from CyberTech Lighting. Today I would like to explain to you how to install our emergency battery backup. This is our model item number CLBAT-BACUP. So this product is a lithium charged battery unit. It's a complete contained emergency unit which wires directly into your driver box. It comes complete with a test switch and LED. It also has a cover plate, so if you need to put it on the ceiling, and all the wire nuts and some mounting screws. So now I'm going to be explaining this unit and how to install it. The unit comes with two flexes. One is flex A, which is the input flex, and flex B, which is the output flex. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start with is flex A, which is the input for the unit. The input consists of a number of wires, black, white, black with a line, white line on it, and a purple and a brown. Simple, the purple and the brown connects to the purple and the brown of the indicator light. That can be mounted. It's a low voltage. It can be put on the outside of the unit and a junction box, so it's up in the ceiling, or it could be a hole could be drilled in and it could be mounted into the unit. The black and white are what the power goes into. So this unit receives power directly line and neutral. Line is black, white is neutral. The black and white wire actually goes to the driver and the driver's neutral wire, which is the white wire, white input wire for the driver. Here I have made a diagram of how a fixture is connected. Basically it's simple. A driver has two inputs, black and white. It has power going in, and the output goes to the LED board. Usually it's a red positive, black negative, or white negative, black positive. You'll look on the board and you'll see what is positive, negative. Also shows the output of it. You're going to take this black wire with a white line, and it's going to connect to the input of the LED existing driver. So now we're done with the connection of flex A, the input wires. So now we're going to talk about flex B, which is the output side of this battery backup system. Flex B has four wires in there, a black, white, a gray, and a red. So the wiring diagram shows four wires. This is the emergency system, has four wires coming out, a gray, a white, a black, and a red. Here's the four wires on the unit. So it talks about the two of them going to the existing driver and two of them going to the LED chips. The gray and white will go to the LED chips, and red and black will go to the driver, and I'll show you how that's going to be done. The connection of these four output wires, remember they're gray, white, red, and black, go to the output side of this driver. There's four wires here, and there's two wires that connect to the LED board. You're going to pretty much cut this negative, and you're going to cut this positive. Now you end up with 1, 2, 3, 4 wires. These are where the four wires go. You look at the schematic or the wiring diagram. It shows the black and the red will connect to the driver. The red being positive, the black being negative. You're going to connect these two to that driver. You're going to jump through this, and that's where you're going to connect the gray and the white to the existing LED board. So the gray will be positive and white will be negative. You can tell sometimes by the board if it doesn't tell you what color is what. If the color doesn't match what I have here, you're going to look on the board, it'll say negative, It'll say positive, and the positive is where the gray wire goes, and the white wire goes on the negative. You can see that in the drawing that is there, wiring diagram, and explains where each color goes. So now you've connected 1, 2, 3, 4. Your output wire are 4 connected. That you're done with the connection. Now if you have a junction box in your fixture, this can snap right into the junction box. Once it goes in, it'll be close to all of these wires. You cut them, you wire nut them, and you are connected. This is how you connect this unit. There's one more thing, which is the setting of these limit switches. So I'm going to talk about how to set the dial switches according to the driver that is existing on your unit. So here I have a panel, and what we've already done is we've explained how to connect all these wires. You would have popped your whips into this junction box here and connected all the wires within. Now you're going to set this and this limit switch. Okay, so now we're talking about setting the dial switches that are on your battery backup. The dial switches are to be set according to your existing driver's current. So you would go to the driver. On this driver, it shows this driver has constant current of 1000 milliamps. Dial 1 is in the hundreds and dial 2 is in the 50s. So there's 1 to 10 numbers, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, on and on till 10, which is 1000 amps. If it was 1050, you'd go to the 50. If it was 1950, you go 9 and 50. If it was 850, you go to 805. If it was 800, you go to 800 and 0 on the small dial. And that's how you set your current. So in this case, we're going to set the dial on to 10, which is 1000, and we're going to set the small dial to 0, 1000. If it was 1050, we would go 1050, but it's 1000, so we put it on 10 as 1000 and 0. Now that everything is installed, the wires are all connected, and the limit switches are set. There's a couple things for the installer of this unit that I wanted to cover. The black wire also needs to have a line going to it. Since this operates the unit, it does have the black or the line connected to it. If you need to put a switch, you're going to also put it through this lead. You're going to have a switch, let's say here. You would have a switch going, and if the switch is on, the unit would light. If the switch is off, the unit would shut off. The second power input was through the battery backup system, and that stays constant. It has to have constant power, and when it senses that the power is gone, it shuts off. This one can be turned on and off, and the unit can be turned on and off for that. So that's that's to cover that part. The second input power that we have was through the battery backup. The battery backup had been powered with the line and the neutral going through it. What it does is it senses that it has to have constant power. If there's no constant power coming in and the power goes out, it senses it and then it transfers or switches over to the battery. So this has to have constant power. This one can be turned on and off. The final thing I'd like to cover is the input side. We had discussed putting the limit or the test switch on. The test switch must be connected to the unit. You cannot bypass the test switch. You cannot put the two test switch wires together. This test switch must be connected. You also use this test switch to test the unit, and since this battery takes at least 48 hours to charge before you can use it, you might be able to test it within at least 3 hours. If you wait 3 hours, you can use the test switch. The test switch, when you press on it, it bypasses the the driver and it switches it to the battery. The battery will then light the unit. It will light it 25 watts. This is a 25 watt unit. If it's a 100 watt fixture, it's going to light quarter the amount of light. So it's not going to light it fully, it's going to light it 25 watts. And once it lights it, then you know that the test is successful and the unit is working.